Hey folks, good morning. Welcome back to the Doiby Par 3 Golf Channel. This morning I'm going to show you how to put a grip on, and then I'm going to talk to you about the grip real quick. So first thing I'll do is replace the grip on. I've got a 58 degree Callaway X-Grind here. I don't use it a whole lot out here at the farm, but I use it a lot on the course. And my grip clearly is pretty worn out on this club. I love these Winn Dry Tack grips. It's my favorite grip. This is the mid-size version of it. They don't wear great, so I have to replace them about every 4 months, as often as I swing the club. But anyway, let's get to this. I want to show you how easy it is to do. A lot of people are intimidated by doing something like this. They always take it to a pro shop or a golf place, and they pay a lot of money for this. These grips are expensive, $8 or $10 a pop. You know, so you could take this somewhere and spend $25 easily to get one club re-gripped. And I'm just doing it. I get a bulk roll of tape and some lighter fluid, and I'll talk to you about what I use. A lot of people do it different ways. This is how I do it. It's always worked for me. I've done it this way since I was 10 years old. So. The first thing you've got to do is cut this old grip off. This is probably the hardest part. I just use a box knife. I hope this blade's sharp. And I just you get through this grip's got a little collar on it. All of them are like this. And then you just kind of like maintain steady pressure and cut down the shaft. Like that. And then you just kind of cut it good. You can almost just peel it back. Sometimes you get lucky and you get most of the tape with it. You can see I'm peeling pretty firmly to get that off of there, right? They're stuck on pretty good. Most of the tape came off of it. And I've got this little bit left over at the end. I take these off. Some guys don't mind leaving a layer or two of tape on. I've played long enough to where, believe it or not, I can feel the difference between multiple layers of tape and just one layer. So you know, you may or may not have that kind of feeling in your hands, but I do. So I start with a fresh shaft. But sometimes this is real stubborn. It doesn't come off easy. You've got to spend some time with it. I'm getting pretty lucky on this one. Okay, step one, remove the grip, right? So involved in step one, we've got to make that cut down the grip, firmly tug it off, and then remove that grip tape that's on there. If there's one layer on there, you can leave it. It doesn't hurt it if you don't have that feeling like I do. But like I said, I like to take it off. Now that that's cleaned off, you can buy these pre-cut. I re-grip so often, I'm pretty picky, so I buy a giant roll of it. And then to measure it, I just pull the roll out and then I cut it just a little bit longer than the length of the grip, because what you want to do is you want to overlap the butt of the club about 1/4 of an inch. So you can see what I'm doing here. I just kind of feel it with my fingertip, and I let it overlap, and I apply firm pressure on there and peel it apart. And you can just put golf grip tape in the search bar in Amazon's where I buy just about everything these days. And it'll come up with a lot of different, you can get the pre-cut strips, like I said, it's a lot easier to use those. And they're not that expensive to buy them pre-cut, it's just a lot easier to use it. And then like I just did, I folded this first side down pretty firmly. And then you just overlap like that. And then the reason you let it overlap the butt of the club, with the shaft into the club, is you take it and you fold it over and you press it in there. And that actually serves a purpose. With your clubs in your bag up like this, if it ever rains in your bag or your bag happens to get wet, this will prevent water from going up in your shaft and rusting your shaft from the inside out. So, you know, you'll see these folded over almost every time you take them out, and like good people that regrip clubs, they know that that's there for a reason. So step 2, apply the grip tape. All right, like I said, I use these Win mid-size dry tack grips. I like the blue and black ones. They're about $10 a pop. It's my favorite grip right now. You take a tee. I just use a golf tee and stick it in the little hole in the end. And you can buy grip solvent, and they sell grip solvent. It's kind of expensive. I use lighter fluid. I've always used lighter fluid. There might be people that say don't use lighter fluid. I don't know. It evaporates very quickly. I can play this club in 5 minutes. And then how do I know how much to put in there? I put in 10 seconds worth. Just a smooth squeeze. And when I'm putting it in here, I'm just slowly rotating the grip in my hand. So I'll just count for you here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right. That's gotten hot in the back of my truck, so it's kind of swollen up. Now I just kind of like shake it back and forth in there a little bit. You know, the pros have a clamp. They put this in there and line it up. I'm just showing you how I do it. I don't have all the special equipment. Although I'm a golfer, I don't feel the need to buy all that stuff. I'm just showing you how we can do it without having to spend a bunch of money on special tools. We're just doing it like this. I've got a train track, that's what you hear in the background probably. Anyway, so now that I've done that, I just take and slowly pour what's in here down the tape of the grip, and then, you know, with a couple of seconds, just slide it on there the best alignment I can with the dry tack and this alignment piece kind of in line with to make it square with the club grooves down there. So I'll show you what I'm going to do here. So it's slowly coming out now. There's a little bit in there. You can see it coming out. All right, so I've got the tape wet. I get it going. I grab the end of it. Boom, it's on. All right, pull the tee out, throw it down, and then I set it down like immediately, like I'm gonna hit it. All right, you can put your foot on there and adjust. For me, you got a minute or so to get that exactly the way you want it. What looks good to you. And I've seen people put these on where the words are in the back and sideways and all that, and there's just no reason to do that. You can see the words, and then it lines up straight down the shaft and in line with the golf club now. And I would say that's pretty much a perfect grip job for me. Brand new grip, ready to play, 58 degree Callaway X Grind. And that's all there is to it. And that took me all of just a couple of minutes to do that. And that, like I said, that'll save you several bucks by doing it yourself. Now let's talk about the grip real quick. Now that we've got a new grip on here, it's the most fundamental thing in golf. And in the word fundamental, it actually is the word fun, right? So for me to have fun at golf, you've got to get these basic things down, which I consider grip, body alignment, feet alignment, shoulder alignment, down the target line, etc. So if you can get those things right at the very beginning, I feel like it'll make you play better, and playing better makes golf fun. So for me to do this, I'm going to try to get a little closer now. And it might be easier if I show you with the glove on here to show you what I'm talking about. I have a pen in my pocket actually, so the part of the hand that you really want your club to line up with is kind of from this finger, which would be like right here, to like kind of like where you would have a callus here on this hand to here, like this. So this is kind of where your club wants to sit, not up in here, not like this way. It really, your club runs from like this trigger on your club kind of up like through that way. So that's where you would want your club to be, to have kind of a normal, natural way of holding the club to set up for success. And I'll try to get that close enough for everybody to see that. I hope that you can see it. It's like, this is kind of Mickey Mouse way of doing it. I wish I would have had a different way of marking this, but anyway, something about like that for me, and I think everybody could probably do that and get a pretty good grip. So how do I put that on there? Well, you get your club straight up and down. Like I said, that's kind of your trigger, right? You put that on there, you line your club up like that, and you fold it over. What does that do? That lets this form a V, if you will. When you set up, that V points to this shoulder for a right-hand golfer. So that V points to your right shoulder with everything square. I'm gonna have to back off these steps a little bit. You might, I guess you can see you can see the club sitting down. So if I was gonna play this shot as a 58, I would play it, a little bit back of center, and then set up with the club shaft a little forward, and this V would be pointing to my right shoulder. All right, you'll see a lot of guys do these left-hand drills, and there's a reason you do that, because your grip is, for a right-hander, is really your left hand. Your primary pressure should be in these three fingers. This is stabilizing. There's not a ton of pressure with this thumb. It's on there. It's just, it's along for the ride. And then this hand really is kind of like holding a bird, right? You don't want it to like get away from you, but you definitely don't want to kill it. So why I'm telling you that is a lot of people like will grab the club and strangle it with their ride along hand, is what I like to call it. So to apply this hand, what I use is I use an interlock between these two fingers. I don't interlock them and wrap them like this, which is, a lot of pros will do that, and I used to do that when I was younger. But for me, I interlock this between these two fingers here, and then these two go on, and then my thumb goes over, and this finger comes down just a little bit, and then that V, once again, points at this right shoulder, just like that. And then so those two V's in setup position point at my right shoulder. And so right there, I'd be ready to hit this club. If that makes sense to you. Now, if you're wanting to hit a different shape shot, to me that's going to be a pretty straight shot for a 58 degree from that position. If you're wanting to hit something a little fadey. It's hard to fade or draw just short of a stick. You know, you can get, I wouldn't mess with this grip very much on your left hand, on your dominant hand. Your ride along, this is where your control comes in, right? You can put it on there higher. But what I mean, you can move it around a little bit more over the top and point this V more towards your center, which will tend to make the ball fade a little bit for a right-hand golfer. Or you can point that V a little bit outside your shoulder, and that'll make your grip strong and tend to make you want to draw the ball. As the club gets longer, it's definitely more noticeable. I don't really mess with that grip or mess with my grip too much on these short irons like this. I set up just like I said, down the line. I get the V pointed at my shoulder, put my ride along on there, between those two fingers, my thumb over, extend that just a little bit. Boom, I'm ready to play right there. And that's about as simple as I can explain the grip to you guys. I hope you learned something today. Definitely not a professional golfer. I've had a few formal lessons. My golf coach, he's a PGA professional. I've known him forever. His name's Ron Miller. He's a director of golf in Austin, Texas. And I had a couple of lessons from Gary Player when I was younger. Other than that, I'm self-taught. But I feel like I know what I'm talking about a little bit, so I hope that this has helped some people and my subscribers for sure. Thanks again for watching us, and I look forward to you watching Jeremy and I take it to each other here in a couple days. Thanks.